Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the Fomo Factory. You are currently looking at a death cross, which we have seen 4 times over the last 4 years. And in this video, I would like to go over what happened to the Bitcoin price every time we saw that, and also what happened to altcoins every time we saw that, because Bitcoin is doing a little sideways movements right here. Altcoins are going a little bit down, but the market is overall quite flat. So what can we expect? Is there a huge move coming pretty soon? So like the video if you already like the video. Did it work? I don't know. Like the video if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to turn on your bell notification. And somewhere in this video, I will ask you a question. If you get the answer right, leave a comment. There's one winner that wins $50 worth of USDT, just to say thank you for watching. Now the death cross is where the 50 and the 200 moving average cross. And it depends on which direction, of course. Well, very simple. The red line have to move from above to the downside, and this is likely to happen tomorrow. Now, I checked off every other time this happened, and let's take a look at what happened to the Bitcoin price first, and then let's take a look like what happened to the altcoin. So I just checked off the last 4, starting from October 2019. So in general, this happens once a year. So what happened the first time we had that cross? The first time we basically already pumped a bit, as you can see a day before. We had the death cross, we pumped a little bit more, and then we slowly faded to the downside. And the move from the death cross till a couple of days later was a 33% downwards move, give or take. So let me mark that off and save that for later. However, the next time it happened, we already had a big fall and not really much happened. We had a dump of around 15%. Well, and I say nothing really much happened. 15%, it doesn't look like much, right? This all looks like sideways. And of course, in a market that moves thousands of percentages, 15% is considered sideways. However, you have to realize that if we move down 15% from the current prices, it puts Bitcoin at 21.7 thousand. And it looks like very far away, but it's just 15%, so it's not even that much. Overall, however, after we had that cross right there, there was a bullish momentum to the upside, because it just happened after the COVID crash, and we basically started the bull market. Then after that, we had a death cross in June 2021. Again, the downtrend already started, but from the moment we have seen the death cross until, and that's from here, until the lows, which was basically here, you can also say here, let's do that, is 20% down. Overall, we started moving upwards again. And we had our latest death cross in January 2022, and that move was a move down of 25%. So also after that, a big move up though. So it depends how you look at it. Like, is the glass half full, is the glass half empty? Usually what we see is a death cross, which brings us down in the short term, but brings up us up in the long term. Down in the short term, up in the long term, down short term, up long term, down short term, up long term. So what's the average short term move that we get from this? Well, if you take the average, 34 plus 15 plus 20 plus 25, and we divide it by 4, that's an overall move of 23.5% to the downside. That's not that I'm saying that we will go down like that. We highly probably don't do that exactly. But based over the last 4 times of the last 4 years, that's the average move that we get after we got the death cross. So if we do an average move, 23.5% will put Bitcoin at around 19.7. So let's say $20,000. Is that something that sounds very crazy? Well, in my opinion, there is some information that does back that up, though, because it quite makes sense that if you look at support around that area, little resistance around that area, when we came back down here in March, we came there as well. So that's one. We do have a lot of support there, so it does make sense. Then number two, overall, is September a quite bearish month. If you look over the last 6 Septembers, they were all red. And 4 of the earlier Septembers were red as well. So out of the 13 months, we had 3 green Septembers. Now we are currently at 0.2%, so the downtrend hasn't really played out yet. Now I must say, like, of course, on average, September is red, and that I sometimes see people on Twitter say, like, well, September is gonna be red. Well, not necessarily. September is highly likely to be red, but it's not going to be red. We don't know. We know that when the 1st of October, right? That's the only time that someone ever knows, of course. But based on the averages, yes, it's pretty red. And I mean, even the months that were green, like 6%, 2%, this one was 15%. So that's quite okay. But it's also because the month before that, it was completely wrecked, of course, the year before that. So it had some catching up to do, of course. So overall, September is pretty red, but the average move down is 6.5%. So that's far away from that 26 that we have been talking about, of course. 23, sorry. But overall, it does make sense. So one, we have support, right? Plus that support is coming in exactly at the 2017 highs. So it's not that it makes no sense. 2, Septembers are usually red. And 3, of course, like we have said before, the pre-halving years, 2019, 2015, and now 2023 are always red at the second half of the year. I'm not too much about, it sounds maybe weird to you, but I don't look at the fundamentals too much. I don't pay too much attention to the news, because whatever happens in the news, we will see that at the price chart eventually. So I can always look like, oh, this news backs this move up, and this news backs this news move up. Yeah, whatever the news is, the chart does what the chart does, right? And Bitcoin is just very, very cyclical. Crypto is, stocks are, like, and this is what we have spoken about a lot before. If you look at 2015, we had our bottom. Half of the year we were pumping, and at the, when the second half of the year begun, basically, we went down and we found a new bottom right there. In 2019, it wasn't different than that. We found a bottom. Then the first half of the year we went up. Second half of the year came and we found a new bottom, right? Well, new bottom, not a lower low, but a new cycle bottom there. Now, 2023 is doing the exact same thing, right? We have our bottom, we go up in the first half of the year, we break this trend line right when the second half of the year starts, and we start going down. And now a nice depth cross is coming in as well, right when September occurs, which is usually a bearish month. So it's like a lot of things are saying the same thing right here. Plus, of course, which is very interesting as well, if you ask me, is the bull market support band, which is showing, are we like in a bullish momentum right here, or is the market bearish? Now, if we take a look at 2015, we were at a certain point above the bull market support band, but once we, went below the bull market support band, we came down. 2019 was not that different. We were above the bull market support band, we came down, we tried one more time, but we got rejected and we went down very hard. Now, in 2023, we were above the bull market support band and we now came down. So what's happening for the rest of the year? Well, in my opinion, it is very likely that we go down pretty hard. And I'm not saying that this move of 23% is going to play out right away. This could take a couple of weeks, of course. Here we, let me check out again. Yeah, here we are. So here, for example, let me go back a little bit, right? Here we had the depth cross in 26th of October, and we found that low in 25th of November, and basically even at the 17th of December, which is my birthday. It's a good day to dollar cost, so give me some money so I could Here, it was quite sooner, right? We had our death cross 26th of March, and we already found the bottom like 3 days later. So that went pretty fast. Then we had the death cross right here at the 19th of June, and we found that low at the 20th of July. And then the last one, we had the death cross 14th of January, and we found our bottom at the 24th of January. So it kind of, so far it plays out in the, you know, same month, like on average in a month or so. So if we do get that death cross tomorrow, it could definitely be that at the end of September we will take a deep fall. And again, I'm not saying it will happen, but you know, if you what I just like to look at is not one indicator. That's stupid, right? There are a lot of indicators, for example, that say that the bottom for Bitcoin is in, but there are also a lot of legacy indicators that say that the bottom is not in. So if you have to trust one indicator, it can mess up your thesis real quick. But if we take a look at multiple things coming together and they are all saying the same thing, yeah, then I start to wonder, like, okay, maybe we should keep a consideration that this might play out a little bit. Also, one other thing, if we take a look at the stochastic RSI, which is a momentum indicator, and we put it at the weekly, you see that we are now at the bottom. And you know, a lot of people might say like, well, it's at the bottom, so it's oversold, so you should buy right now. That's kind of dangerous, because here we also went at the bottom, kind of where we are right now, right? 16th of May. There, Bitcoin, however, was sitting at around 30K. However, still at this same bottom, Bitcoin went all the way down to 17K. So Bitcoin lost another 40-45%, give or take, while the stochastic RSI was at the bottom. Here as well, we were approaching the bottom right here. Bitcoin was sitting at around $47,000. But still, once we were still floating at the bottom, Bitcoin went from there to 32, right? So and I can give you 10 more examples at least. So what I'm saying is, once we are here, it could be that the stochastic RSI goes flat for a while, but that's usually when the price is going down very hard. So that's another one. And when we look at the monthly, that's interesting, because the monthly stochastic RSI was at the top. But if you, and let me clear up everything right here. If you see that we were at the top, you could say like, well, you know, here we were at the top as well, and that's where the bull market started, right? Definitely true. But then again, here in 2019, same period as now, exactly 4 years later, August 2019, it's now September, it's just 1 month difference. And you could put it a month later, by the way, it's kind of at the same area. You see also, we went to the top in that, you know, bear market rally or pre-bull, however you want to call it, doesn't matter, right? But then the stochastic RSI cooled off, went down. This is where we found our, you know, our final low before the bull market really started. So we can easily also do something like that, where we go down, cool off a little bit. In the meantime, Bitcoin goes to maybe 20K, and then the bull market starts, right? So also that is telling me that some indicators are quite overbought right now. So overall, Bitcoin is looking like it, you know, needs to cool off a little bit. I haven't checked the Bollinger Bands, by the way, but if we take a look at the Bollinger Bands, yeah, the Bollinger Bands usually, when they are squeezing, a big move usually follows. Here they were squeezing, for example, and what happened, went down pretty hard. It doesn't tell you whether it's to the up or the downside, but the fact that they are squeezing is telling that likely a big move is coming. Here they were squeezing a little bit, and there are more like here they were squeezing and it went to the upside. So it doesn't give you a direction, but it is telling that a big move is coming. Now, I checked off the same dates for the death cross on the total 3, so the altcoin market, and basically, we can say the same thing, because whenever Bitcoin is going down, altcoins are pretty much going down as well. So I kind of expect the same there. However, let's take a look real quick. So here we had the death cross, and what happened after we got the death cross the first time? Well, basically altcoins, and let me get my price tool right here. When we got the death cross right here, yeah, the altcoin market first went up 11%. I have to give that to you. But after that, we did get, from the moment that we got the death cross, that the altcoin market went down 28% over the slightly longer term, right? So we got it in October 26, and the altcoin market bottomed at the 18th of December. With a 28% move to the downside. Yeah, that's interesting if you ask me, because if you look at Bitcoin, here it was interesting that Bitcoin took a dive of 34%. So Bitcoin went down more than the altcoin market. However, after that, yeah, they both took a big hit, by the way. It doesn't mean shit. After that, the altcoin market took its final low when COVID hit. After that, though, the altcoin market, once we've seen the new death cross, yeah, the altcoin market took another hit of like 10%. So it wasn't that bad. And after that, we got our, big rally right there. Then we got another death cross, and this is where the altcoin market basically immediately responded. So we got the death cross right here, and the altcoin market in a matter of a couple of days fell 29%. And that's what could always happen, right? You check your portfolio, you be like, wow, I have like $10 right now, I'm going great. The next day you have $7, you be like, what the fuck, right? It could happen. Maybe you have more than $10. After that, the death cross in January 2022, we got it, and altcoins fell another 28%, and that was right here. That was where Bitcoin fell 25%, altcoins fell 28%, and if we take it all the way to this low, basically, it was 30%. Hiccup. So altcoins are basically doing the same thing. So it means whether it's for Bitcoin, whether it's for altcoins, it doesn't look that good. Now, you all know that I am not too bullish on altcoins anyway, and that's very simple, because if Bitcoin goes down, altcoins go down as well, but they usually go down harder. However, if Bitcoin goes up right now, that's something different, because then the Bitcoin dominance follows quite a bit. And when the Bitcoin dominance goes up, it means that altcoins are going down on their Bitcoin pair. So if altcoins are losing compared to Bitcoin, yeah, you were better off buying Bitcoin anyway, while it's less risk. So altcoins don't make sense at all, right? Now, especially in these times, I am pretty careful when it comes to altcoins, because the reasons I just mentioned. Also, the Bitcoin dominance, now we're looking at it, by the way, which is quite interesting if you ask me. Okay, so if we look at yeah, it's still in a long-term downtrend. Well, long-term over the last couple of months. However, it is pretty likely that it will break, because now we have the stochastic RSI. Like we said, we hit it to the bottom. We went down while it was going sideways, and it looks like the stochastic RSI on the bigger time frame, so bigger moves for the Bitcoin dominance, is going to go up again pretty soon. That could mean the final rally for the Bitcoin dominance, and yeah, altcoins to get pretty wrecked on their Bitcoin pair, right? So please note that that could happen. The last time it happened, altcoins were sitting at the bottom right here, or the Bitcoin dominance. It was sitting at around 40%, and in this whole move where it was overbought, it went from 40 to 50% basically. We're now sitting at the same level, right? So it could mean that that move is going to take the Bitcoin dominance up to maybe around the higher 50s. And that's absolutely wrecked city for altcoins. So therefore be a little careful. And that also makes me think that the total 3 divided by the Bitcoin market cap should go down, which makes sense because this thing is overbought, right? And it's been there for a long while already. So that's quite interesting. Does it have to play out? Right here we were overbought as well, and we went all the way down, but basically nothing happened. So it doesn't have to mean that, but you know, too much indicators are saying the same thing right here. So overall, Bitcoin bearish, altcoins bearish with it. altcoins on their Bitcoin pair pretty bearish as well. So that's my thesis for now. And for the people that say like, yeah, well, but the S&P is likely to make new highs right here. Every pre-halving year, the S&P made new highs, and after that it came down anyway. 2015 we saw the same thing, made new highs, came down anyway. And if we have to be really honest, if we look at the S&P on the money supply, so the M2, then the S&P is already sitting at highs, and you know, it has been doing this for the last, well, 22 years, and every time it came here it got rejected very hard, right? So this is likely to suggest that the S&P is going, you know, to correct any time this year, maybe Q1 next year, which brings Bitcoin down with it. So I don't know, the stars are lining up for Bitcoin to go down. At least I'm DCAing. It doesn't matter, like if it's now $26,000, 22, 19, 30, I don't care. My strategy is basically dollar costing until the halving comes, and then moving my Bitcoin into altcoins once Bitcoin has, you know, ran for a couple of months, and then put it into altcoins. I got some comments, yeah, you will miss out on the bottom for altcoins and they will do a 10x and this and that. Maybe you miss out on the exact bottom, but we are not trying to catch the bottom here anyway, because if you make a 5x with Bitcoin, you have $1,000, you make a 5x, you have $5,000. If you can then put that money and put it into altcoins, you make another 10x, you have the 50x. The most safe way. You can, of course, gamble your nuts out of your sack by trying to make 100x by putting your money in all kind of risky altcoins right now. You have twice as much rewards, which isn't that much more, but the risk you're taking is way higher. So be smart, don't be a retard, like Eminem said, and I don't know, I'm sticking to this plan. So guys, thanks for watching. Wrong button, doesn't matter. Now you see my hat, which is beautiful, of course. Thanks for watching. Like the video if you like the video. Shout out to the Patreon members. Check it out in the description down below, where we sorry, I want to show you a little bit longer, where we give you all early access, exclusive videos, my portfolio updates, trading courses, etc. Be there, and I'll see you guys very soon. Stay safe. Bye.